Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Jurassic World Bashers and Biters Pachycephalosaurus. As you can see, the packaging here is the same as what we have seen with pretty much all the other Jurassic World dinosaur toys in the Hasbro lineup. Back of the packaging gives us a look at the Pachycephalosaurus toy with what looks to be a much better and much more natural paint job than the actual figure received. It also says here that Pachycephalosaurus has a bashing attack. So I'm going to go ahead and get the dinosaur out of the packaging. When we come back, we will go ahead and take a closer look and see what this dinosaur is all about. Alright you guys, and here is Pachycephalosaurus out of the packaging. My first impression here is that it looks pretty good. I'm not completely on board with the paint scheme, but I will admit it isn't terrible either. The overall physique of the dinosaur looks quite good. It looks pretty proportionate and more or less realistic. The dinosaur is in a somewhat neutral pose. It is a little bit upright, giving the impression that, maybe it's become aware of something going on. Overall looks pretty good. Again, the coloring is quite interesting, considering that Pachycephalosaurus, when we saw it in the Lost World, Jurassic Park, it didn't really look like this. As far as the coloring goes, it was a lot different. They gave it almost like a honey mustardish kind of golden yellow, along with some black stripes along the back, which are a little bit too defined. They didn't blend them all that well, though I think the head looks pretty good. You also get those screw holes in the side, which, we should be used to by now with this lineup. As far as the Bashers and Biters assortment goes, I think that one thing Pachycephalosaurus has going for it is that it looks pretty natural and pretty well proportioned, perhaps only second to the Ankylosaurus that we looked at previously. Give you a close-up of the head. As you can see, it's done pretty nicely. You will want to pay attention to the ones in the store because the paint can be a little bit sloppy on some. This one looks quite good. The eye looks really nicely painted, and the detail on the head is actually really good. I'm liking the way the coloring looks on the head. I think they did a good job incorporating all that coloring there. The dome is kind of like a bone color. The little bumps, protrusions, are the same color. And the face looks pretty good. The only thing they didn't quite do is this kind of seems to be a little bit of a beak that they didn't paint a different color. The head is also tilted just a little bit to the side. And you will see when I do the action figure why that is. Again, the proportions on this one are quite good. I like the physique that it has. The hands and arms look to be about the right size. The legs look quite good. Tail's a nice shape and seems to be about the right length. Torso looks to be pretty nicely proportioned. I really think it looks quite good. I'm really quite pleased with the way that the sculpt came out. Again, the paint, I'm not a huge fan of. I would have liked to have seen something a little bit different. But, it isn't awful. It's just the way that they did these stripes, I think, is the biggest offender for me, is that they didn't really blend them all that well on the sides. The sculpt work on the tail is also really good. No complaints there. The legs, again, look really good. And the bottom of the figure has more of like a cream color to it that, wasn't blended all that well, as you can see here. This side actually doesn't look terrible, but, they could have done a better job of blending that. Of course, you get the Jurassic World lettering here on its hip, and you get articulation at the arms, as well as at the legs. Now, as far as its standing ability goes, you do need to pose it a little bit more erect, just kind of standing upright, due to the way that, it's top heavy. I've tried to get it to be a little bit more, angled, but it just don't work. Just a little bit of dino damage here, which, doesn't look awful, but doesn't look particularly good either. Now, to activate the action features, what you do is, to do the first one, you pull the tail downward, and it sticks the neck up. I didn't really like this on the Ankylosaurus nor on the Stegoceratops because it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. On Pachycephalosaurus, it does make sense, and it's a good thing that they included it here because it kind of gives it that headbutting kind of look. You also move the tail sideways, and it tilts the head to the side, which, isn't anything spectacular, but, you know, it's pretty good, I suppose. If you look at it from this angle here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Jurassic World Bashers and Biters Pachycephalosaurus. Overall, I'm actually quite pleased with this dinosaur. Of course, it isn't up to Papo standards or anything like that, but it is pretty nice. I think that the biggest things that it has going for it are, number one, the sculpt. The sculpt and the detail on it are pretty good. And secondly, the proportions of it are also very nice, and it does look to be pretty natural looking. I also think they did a really nice job sculpting the head and the eye, and the overall look of the figure I think is really good. I'm not a huge fan of the paint scheme. I think that could have been done a little bit better. I think the head looks good, but, you know, the rest of the body, you know, I think they could have picked some different coloring here. The action features work pretty well with this figure. Again, you're going to want to test it out in the store just to make sure that you don't get one that doesn't work quite as well. You can get this figure for $7.88 at your local Walmart, or you can get it through Target, Kmart, or Toys R Us for $9.99. I am quite pleased with this figure. If you're collecting the Bashers and Biters lineup, then you're probably going to want it. If you're picking and choosing with that assortment, I do think that this is one of the standouts of the line, and as such, I do recommend it. All in all, it's pretty good. All right, you guys, stay tuned because we have more Jurassic World dinosaur toy reviews coming soon. Thanks for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.